Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me to engage with the challenge of trying to think about sustainable and well-being in a city like Cambridge in 2 minutes. I'll do my best. You'd expect me, as a planner, to remind ourselves about terminology, and whilst there are many debates about what sustainable means, Googling the term sustainable development ends up with a fairly common set of components. Clearly, there will be different emphasis for different audiences, but it is a combination of 3 components, I think, that we all accept. And moving on from that, a definition of healthy. It's quite interesting reflecting upon Kim's conversation, but actually upon the thinking that we're employing in the city, that the concept of sustainable and healthy cities, but also picking up on the broader theme of tonight about happy cities, fundamentally comes down to people and the lives that people lead. And so, whilst I couldn't possibly expect to explain to you what the local planning authority is doing for people in the space of 2 minutes, it seemed appropriate just to talk a little bit about where we are at this moment in time. We've heard, and you as residents of Cambridge will be more familiar than even me after 8 months with the spatial growth strategy and the choices that we've set out in our current plan. That plan being examined at this moment in time for soundness, with a number of contradictory views, I suspect, about our conclusions. But fundamentally, a plan comprised of 4 components. So, consolidated growth in the city, considered expansion on the city edge, and I've had my flag already, crikey. Structured expansion of settlements connected to the city, and modest growth. But fundamentally, what are we trying to achieve? Kim's already mentioned Jan Gell. Very much, I think we're in tune with that, and increasingly starting to imagine the city and society in this part of the world based around people and a sense of public life. I'm a planner, so another icon, a chap called Francis Tibble's no longer with us, who set out 10 rules for cities and for planning, which I think are, and you can read them there because I'm out of time, which I think are fundamentally, again, about connecting with people and connecting with place. So a healthy, sustainable Cambridge, I would argue, it's one where planned growth takes place. That's both in the long and the longer term. It is integrated with the way we move around. We understand and manage the assets and the heritage and the history of the place, and Kim's touched upon that. And we support public life, and we support the way that we engage across the city. So it's about collaboration, capability and capacity, which all of us contribute to deliver that role. Thank
you. Good evening. My name is Fletcher, and I've lived in and around Cambridge for nearly 20 years. I've cycled here, I've fallen in love here, I've learnt to punt here, albeit badly. I've walked through the streets here, and I've even been taught how to think and learn from many of you here in the audience. There's one of my lecturers here, but actually what really makes Cambridge special is the number of people you bump into on a daily basis who can tell you something you never knew before. Like many people here, I've had my career here, and yes, I am a developer, but I'm also a resident and an observer, and I want to make a difference and prove you can do it right. I've set up a community land trust to deliver affordable homes in my village, and even delivered a 9-screen cinema to regenerate all from Stoke High Street. But however, we need to understand how a developer looks at projects. So the first thing is actually how a landowner is paid. And at the end of the day, a developer looks at what they can put on the site, how much they will sell it for, less the cost of doing it, the bricks, borrowing from the bank, and also their profit. And more often than not, the sites are valued very, very early on, before anybody's aware, and a master plan is drawn up in isolation. On the whole, developers use a variety of different planning documents which are available to them, but at no stage has it really had that personal input into the process. But actually, working together earlier, although incredibly hard initially, can achieve much better results. Communities can add value by influencing the well-being and the needs that they want from developments. On a project I'm working on at the moment, it's not just about what people want who live locally, but it's also about what your own occupiers might need as well. Things like, one of the suggestions being put forward is a swimming lake, so people can do triathlons rather than just a ditch that has sterile water that goes nowhere. So working with all the communities, those coming in and those existing, really can deliver results. And together can create sustainable, unique communities, which makes Cambridge unique and really does make it, Cambridge, a perfectly imperfect place to live and work.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carre. I'm Head of Environmental Services at Cambridge City Council. Probably the best job in the city, I'd say. Responsible for managing the city's public realm, which, as we all know, is rich, diverse, and locally, nationally, and globally important. So it's an absolute privilege to have this role. There are 4 key elements that I'd like to highlight in response to this very big question that I've only got 2 minutes to answer in. The first is a shared community vision. The second is investing in a high-quality open space, a public open space. Third is investing in adapting to the impacts of climate change. And the fourth, and probably the most important, is investing in community engagement. So, addressing each in turn, investing in a shared community vision, something that we all can get behind, something that shapes the planning, the investment and the delivery of the changes that need to happen across the city. It's about us all working together, public, private and voluntary. This vision here, the community vision that we have, is the vision that's set by the Council, One Cambridge Fair for All. It's about addressing the inequalities that we have within the city, making sure that everyone is benefiting from the impacts of growth, and that we are supporting those that maybe don't have the same opportunities and are suffering from the inequalities in terms of health, education, housing access, etc. Next one, investing in quality public open space for people and for wildlife. The quality of our public open space affects us all. It affects our quality of life, our health, our well-being. Our open space needs to be attractive, accessible, stimulating and well maintained, and fulfil a range of functions, both social, economic and environmental. And it needs to be planned and managed in a joined up, coordinated way. Thirdly, adapting to climate change. We need to care for the planet, and we need to do that by thinking and acting locally and thinking globally. Using the natural systems that we have, our rivers, our watercourses, our floodplains, to manage flooding, to help store water that we need for drinking, for watering plants, for a whole range of functions. We need to look at developing buildings which are low carbon, which are eco-friendly. We need to look at emissions and how we tackle air quality through the use of trees, through investing in electric vehicles, a whole range of different activities that we can do to help us adapt as a community to the impacts of climate change. And looking at food production and how we can make our food supply more sustainable by growing locally. And finally, and as I say, probably most importantly, it's about investing in community engagement. This is the key to success and achieving our vision for the city. It's about engaging communities in planning, delivery, ongoing management, We work with friends groups, we work with volunteers, we work with community groups across the city. We're trying to engender and work to develop a strong civic pride in the city, where people won't drop litter, where people will look after their local open spaces, and people will respect the environment, the high quality environment that we have here in the city. It's about people power. And we're keen and look forward to working with yourselves, FECRA, the local groups, the affiliated residents associations across the city to help us achieve this vision. Thank you very much.